Hey everyone, week 2 is in the books. I just got done finishing all my progress reports and I'm super impressed with everyone's results. Even though it's a short week, literally you only have 4 days of progress to make since your cheat meal was on Sunday. I was really impressed with not only the inches but even the scale. We saw some great movements with that. One thing next week, I want you guys to all take progress pictures. So front, side, and back progress pictures. The scale isn't everything, which we've been preaching. Obviously, we want to see the inches going down. We want to see your clothes fitting better. But the pictures kind of tell us the whole story. Even if you only lost a couple of pounds, you'll be amazed at how much different your pictures look since you're losing fat and not just weight like most programs. It's a fat loss program. Expectations moving forward, I put this in the guide, the weeks 3 and 4 guide for you, is 1 to 3 pounds is really ideal for fat loss. Again, it's all relative to your starting body weight and how much weight you should be losing. So make sure we're not comparing our results to other people. Just focus on yourself. Just like in your workouts, you're not worried about anybody but yourself. With your results and your journey, you should really only be focused on yourself and controlling the things that you can control, which is obviously eating right, getting to your workouts, and then your attitude. So make sure 1 to 3 pounds a week is really ideal. Sometimes clients will lose a little bit less than that. Sometimes clients will lose a little bit more than that, and that's perfectly fine. But if we're in the 1 to 3 pounds, that should be considered a win. So when I'm looking at progress reports, and if you only lose 1 pound next week and you're super incredibly disappointed in losing 1 pound, I might have to give you some tough love and a pep talk. So make sure 1 to 3 pounds is good. Again, we're focusing on inches, clothing, pictures, and not just the scale with that. Weeks 3 and 4 game plan. Let's just go over that real quick so we all know what we're doing next week. Very similar to what you did in week 2. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are all low carb days. Saturday is a low carb cheat meal just like you did last week, so it's pretty much the exact same game plan. Your macros aren't changing unless your coach has decided that you needed some changes in your macros. There was some questions on the low carb cheat. What does that all mean? So on those days you are going to have your low carb macros, so you want to eat a protein meal with carbs, and then the rest of the day, last week we told you, this week we told you just stick to protein and veggies. That's kind of more ideal because obviously we're minimizing calorie intake if you're not eating all the fat as well. But if you do have some of the fat, that is fine. Then your cheat meal at night. And again, the cheat meal should be the last meal of the day because typically what happens when you have your cheat meal too soon in the day, then you start craving that crap food all day long, and then you're fighting urges, and some people aren't going to fight the urges, and then one cheat meal turns into a whole day of binge eating, which obviously we don't want you doing. So with that, your cheat meals are fine. Make sure, again, I'm sure a lot of you felt like crap after your last cheat meal, and it wasn't just something I'm saying, it actually happened. So as your body gets more used to and adjusted to eating whole, clean foods, it's going to reject the crappy food even more. So with that, make sure that we're sticking with carbohydrates as much as possible. Obviously, you can have proteins and fats, but your goal should be to intake more carbohydrates because that's what's going to increase fat burning hormones and keep your metabolism elevated more than saying increasing calories from proteins or fats. So make sure you have what you like, enjoy it. It's all good. Now on Sunday we have some changes. We have a deplete minus 20 days. So deplete minus 20, follow your macros that you're provided. On those days, we're going to increase protein a little bit, but we're decreasing our fat. So as your body gets more adjusted to utilizing fat as an energy source, when we dietarily restrict fat from your diet, you're going to burn more of it. So you can't do it all the time. It's not good for you to do all the time. If we just did that all the time, your metabolism would decrease significantly because your daily caloric intake would be too low, which we don't want. But when you strategically put it in there on certain days, we're going to maximize your body's ability to burn fat. So that is Sunday. You're also going to do that on week 4 on Monday. Sorry, I'm fighting a head cold here. Monday, deplete minus 20, and then it's low carb the rest of the week. Sunday, we have one of the best fat burning strategies used correctly. It's called intermittent fasting, and you're going to follow your deplete macros. And every challenge, people get a little bit confused with this. So the way it's going to work is you're going to fast until noon. So you're not going to eat anything till noon. You can still have your coffee, teas, stuff like that. We just don't want any calories in those. So no creamers, no sugars, any of that stuff. So at noon, what you're going to have is you're going to have your 3 deplete meals. So we're not taking your total deplete macros and dividing them by 3. We want you having 3 of your deplete meals. So your calories on those days are going to be less, but we're really going to maximize fat burning on those days. Again, strategically having days where you have less calories is okay, as long as the average throughout the week is good. But you can't do it too often. Some people say, why don't we do this more often if it's so effective? It's effective in short dosages. It's not effective all the time. So strategically doing it in a way that sets you up for success is how we have it planned. Now, if you are extra hungry kind of at night, you can have another half of your meal as a snack. That's perfectly okay. So that is weeks 3 and 4 game plan. Comment down below if you have any questions on that. Now, throughout every challenge, typically weeks 3 and 4 are where we see a lot of the most let-ups. And it doesn't matter. We've done 4-week challenges. We've done 6-week challenges. We've done 8-week challenges. We've done 12-week challenges. There's always a period in time that we have a decent amount of people slip up for whatever reason. And it's all mental. 100% of what you're going through is mental. If you get your mind right, you get your life right, you're going to be successful. But there's always 1 week that I get progress reports. And obviously it's not everybody, but I would say 30-40% of our clients have 1 week where they slip up. And it's usually because they didn't plan, they didn't prep, they weren't prepared, they didn't set themselves up for success, they didn't figure out what their obstacles were that week, and they were overcome by those. So what we're really trying to focus on, especially in the 6 weeks, is forming healthy habits that stick with you after the 6 weeks. And those habits, which I've preached on quite a few times, are going to be planning. So we're always going to need to plan our food. We're always going to need to plan our workouts in our schedule. Prepping, you're going to prep your food. So you really need to find a prepping schedule that works for you. For most people, it's prepare as much food as humanly possible on Sunday, or it might be a bi-weekly thing where you're prepping your food. You have to figure out what works for you and what's going to work for you long term. It doesn't do you any good going, well, I can do this for 6 weeks, and then after the 6 weeks, I'm going to go back to whatever I was doing because I can't do this for more than 6 weeks. You need to figure out how to make it fit inside your lifestyle so that you're able to do it long term and you're not just counting down the weeks of, okay, when's this challenge over? I'm going to go back to my old bad habits. Because if you go back to your old bad habits, you're going to gain the weight back. And then going through the 6-week process was, I don't want to say pointless, but pretty much pointless. And we don't want that. We want you kickstarting your results, forming great habits that continue on after the 6 weeks are over. So prepping your food, being prepared. I can't tell you, that's usually why people aren't successful with a lot of things. Not just weight loss, but in life in general, they're not prepared. So making sure your food's prepared, you're bringing it with you for work, you're planning around whatever work things that you have. Everybody's got obstacles, everybody's got struggles. Those that are successful figure out ways around their obstacles, around those struggles, and then the people that aren't successful always fall victim to whatever their obstacles and struggles are each week. And truthfully, we can rationalize whatever we want, but you're going to have to figure it out if you want to be successful. And then obviously action. All the planning, prepping, preparing in the world aren't going to do anything if you're not taking action on those things. So I can't tell you how many people prep their food and then for some reason they don't eat it, or they find themselves in a restaurant instead of eating the food that they prepped. You got to follow through. You got to take action. If you want to be successful, you're going to have to put in the work. It's really that simple. But truthfully, throughout the process, really focus on these habits. Planning, prepping, preparing, and action. If you do those things, you're going to be super successful during 6 weeks, and you're going to be super successful after the 6 weeks, and you're not going to fall back into your old bad habits. The last thing I want to talk to you guys on is commitment. And again, I told you it doesn't matter how long our challenge programs have been. There's always 1 week that people, fall off, don't see the results that they want because they weren't planning, they weren't preparing, they didn't set themselves up for success. But in order to be successful in our plan, you have to have 100% commitment to it. You have to trust the process. We've helped literally now thousands of clients go through this program. It's healthy, it works, clients get amazing results, but ultimately it's your commitment that's going to determine your success. I can give you the best macros in the world, we can give you the best workouts in the world, but if you're not 100% committed, 100% dedicated to the process, you're not going to see the results and you're just shortchanging yourself. So really mentally commit that you're going to give 100% for the next 6 weeks. We got 4 weeks to go, 100% commitment. We're not going to have slip ups. We're going to plan, we're going to prep, we're going to prepare, and we're going to take action on those things so that we can be successful. And a mantra that I've been saying a lot lately is 10 in, 10 out. Too many times, and it happens every challenge, I have a lot of clients that they're expecting the 10 out, which is the results, but they're not putting the 10 in. Maybe they're not following their macros. Maybe they're cheating more than they should. Whatever it may be, they're not putting in 100% of the work. So you can't expect to get 100% of the results out. And you have to be honest with yourself. If you're not giving 100%, don't expect to get 100% out. I get a lot of progress reports throughout the 6 weeks of challenges that, I would say about 10% of clients, they're like, perceptually, they feel like they're doing everything that they can to be successful. But then when you look at what they're eating, how actively they're not working out, all these things, they're not putting in the effort that they perceive that they're putting themselves in. So they get extremely frustrated when they don't get the results that they think they should be getting. So it's about being honest with yourself. If you cheated, you didn't do well with working out that week, and you didn't see amazing results, own it. Until you own it, you're not going to be successful, and you're going to keep blaming other people, or you're going to blame the program, whatever it may be, but ultimately you're not helping yourself if you do that. So be honest with yourself, be honest with your results. If you did give 100%, you followed everything to the T, and you didn't receive results, that stuff does happen, but we're able to correct shit. But what we can't help is if you're telling us you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing and truthfully you're not, and then you want all those results, that mindset's really hard to overcome. So make sure you're being honest with yourself. Make sure you're being honest with your coaches, because we can't help you unless you're honest with us. Now, what I want you to really think about this weekend is, again, why did you sign up? What made you sign up for our 6-week program? What is your why? What is your reason for doing what you're doing? And you really need to go back and look at that every single week. I would love to see you look at your why and your purpose every single day. Some people will put it on their phone. Some people will put it on their mirror in their bathroom, so that you're reminded every single day of why you're going through what you're going through, why you're putting in the energy, the effort, and the sacrifice required to be successful. And ultimately, if your why is big enough, no matter what obstacles or what struggles you go through, you'll keep fighting, you'll keep working through them, no matter what. But if your why isn't big enough, as soon as you hit an obstacle, as soon as you hit a struggle, truthfully, you'll quit or give up, or you'll rationalize why it's okay to not do the things you need to do to be successful. So always have your why in mind. Always have those goals that you're trying to achieve in front of you, so that you have that motivation that you need to put in the energy, to put in the sacrifice, and put in the dedication required to be successful. So keep that in front of you. This weekend, really go over your goals again. Really go over your why and your purpose for doing all this. And honestly, no one ever regretted working hard. I've never had a day where I worked my tail off and I go, man, I really wish I didn't work that hard today. Or when I do really well with my nutrition and my diet and I get all my workouts in, I never go, man, I really wish I didn't do that this week. The only regrets that you have in life are when you don't work hard, when you don't give your best, when you're not giving 100%. Those are the times you're going to regret it. And I really hope none of you throughout the 6 weeks have regrets that, you know what, I could have gave a little bit more. I was doing 211, but I never got to the point where I was boiling hot at 212. Be boiling hot 212 the entire challenge, and I promise you, you will have no regrets. So my challenge for you this 6 weeks is have no regrets. Go 100% all in, 10 out mentality the entire time. Have a great weekend. Let's kick butt week 3.